3 weeks ago, I went on a trip that changed my life. 3 weeks ago, I went on a trip with about 14 other students to the country of Guatemala. In Guatemala, we partnered with a local church to work at soup kitchens and daycare sites in Guatemala City, where they take in children from impoverished families and give them food and water and shelter during their day while their parents are at work. They also give many kids an education that they wouldn't have otherwise. We also went up north towards Belize to a town called Livingston. In Livingston, we taught hygiene clinics to men, women, and children, and we taught them the importance of taking care of their bodies and their communities and how important it is to value the people around them. We brought them sources of clean water that they didn't have otherwise, and it was an amazing time for all of us. These things all taught me a lot about myself and about the world, but it wasn't the most important thing that happened to me on that trip. On our very last day in Guatemala, there happened to be a really terrible landslide. A whole village was destroyed, homes were destroyed, and lives were lost. During this trip, we went and we brought water to the first responders, and we were able to witness all of the families who were making phone calls and crying and wondering where their family members were under the rubble. Hundreds of people were missing and unaccounted for, and by the time that we had left, there was only about 27 people who had been found. We got home, and it was around 1 in the morning, and I get off the plane super exhausted. And I get a text from a friend of mine sending me a picture of an article about Guatemala. It said, "Hundreds still missing in the search for life." And I lost it. I completely broke down, and I realized that that was the most important thing that changed my life on that trip. So I guess the takeaway from this trip is that we should all live intentionally thankful. We should be mindful of the things that we have that others go without.